Hello and welcome to today's video on highlights to investing. Today's video is another episode in my series from start to finish technical analysis, and this one's requested is Ripple. So go ahead and comment in the description of this video for the next coin that you would like me to do next week on Monday for technical analysis from start to finish. Let's get right into this. Alright, so I'm at my screen here and I am on the XRP US dollar tether Poloniex chart on tradingview.com, and I'm looking at the weekly candles with the Stochastic Rsi first, or the Stochastic Rsi, and basically what I'm looking here is to see the strength of the Stochastic Rsi. As you can see, it's very oversold, meaning that the market is lower than it has been recently. This is a momentum oscillator in a sense. So basically what you're looking for is when it's oversold or when it's overbought, then you'd expect more bearish movement. So on the weekly, with the RSI, we are oversold. Now let's check on the daily. On the daily, it looks like we're coming down a little bit out of an overbought area at this point right here in the market at about 20 cents per XRP token. We do have an intraday candle forming here. We have 4 candles that are really moving in this zone between here and here. So I would be looking for a breakout in that zone in either direction as far as short-term direction in this coin goes, because if we break bearish right here, I would suspect we have more bearish movement, and if we break bullish right here, I'd expect it to break out of the Ichimoku cloud here. If you guys don't have your Ichimoku cloud settings right, then go ahead and switch them to 20, 60, 120, 30 if you're trading cryptocurrency. And I personally don't use the conversion line, baseline, lagging span, lead, or lead 2. I just use the clouds for support and resistance zones. And the reason that this is 20, 60, 120, 30 is because cryptocurrency is 24-hour markets as opposed to the stock market being timed. So if we take our Fibonacci, I'm just going to go ahead and draw this very first because I find it to be the most useful tool in technical analysis, hands down, single most useful. So if I go over to the left-hand side here and I draw my Fibonacci retracement up to the top, and then I'm pulling this down below the wick onto the bodies of the candles. As you can see, we don't count wicks in our Fibonacci. I'm just using the bodied candles. And we can see that we've landed onto the 618 Fibonacci retracement, which is a good spot for a bounce, but it really depends on if we can break out of this intraday candle formation. Like I pointed out here, we're kind of moving in this zone. So what I would like to see is market capitalization to break. Personally, I'm not buying any coins. I want to state that until we have a market cap break of 95 billion, which looks like it very well could do so, in which case I would consider the entire cryptocurrency market cap bullish again. So yeah, basically what I'm waiting to see is if we can break this level here, which is would be the right shoulder or the bull trap if this turns into a bearish move. So that's what I'm looking for, is us to break 95 billion. Looks like we're climbing right up there, so be watching for that. But that's my determination, excuse me, whether I'm actually going to buy any coins right now. I do hold a little bit long term, and I have like 20% in alts and 10% in Bitcoin, but majority is in Tether right now due to the volatility and uncertainty in the markets. Now what I would like to point out is it looks like we could very well bounce here, and that would be a very bullish move here in XRP. Is if we make a bullish break candle from this point, then I would see this chart oscillating back and forth between 16 and 20 cents until we can break that 25-cent mark that it seemed to fall out of at this point right here at the 382 Fibonacci. So that would be like the first indication if we can break out of this intraday candle bullish. And it looks like we very well could with the way that the market capitalization is going right now. I think there's a lot of hype in crypto market cap and just crypto in general, and I don't really see the buyers dying out for long. If so, the longest I see them like holding off is like mid-September, October. Even if we do break bearish, I think that the market capitalization will go parabolic again soon. So what I'm looking for here again is that breakout in either direction. If we break bearish, I would suspect a move down towards the 786 Fibonacci, or closer to 9 and 10 cents per XRP. So what I would do if you guys are holding XRP, it really depends on your trading plan. I want you guys to make your own trading plan so that you have a spot to sell if you're right and if you're wrong, so that you never get stuck holding something based on whether it's going to go up or not. You really want to have those trading plans so you can take your profit and leave, or take your loss and look for better days. So getting stuck bag holding is not fun, because then you're just guessing if the market's going to pull back, and then everything looks bullish. I mean, if you're long on something and it's going down, odds are you think it's going to go up. You're just going to continually tell yourself, ooh, the market capitalization will go bullish at some point. But you want to remember that you want to have a spot to sell if you're wrong. So again, if I was holding XRP and I bought recently in the past week or so in between this area, then I would be looking for it to break below this intraday candle that it's moving here. So maybe you could set your stop losses at like 14 cents. That would be a relatively good spot. But it really depends on how much you're willing to lose. And again, I want you guys to make your own trading plans, because if you are holding something and you didn't make a plan, it's harder to make the right decision in that plan. You want to have a clear head, and if you're invested in something, it's harder to keep a clear head over the direction, because you'll falsify the direction it's headed. And that happens if it's bearish too. If you have a short position on and it's going down, and then it starts to come up towards your position, you're just gonna be like, oh, it'll go down further, look how far it's already gone down. So you don't want to falsify or trick yourself too much because of those things. So yeah, it's bounced off the 618 a little bit. I will wait for that breakout. We do have some Ichimoku cloud resistance, as we can see with these wicks coming up. This wick here coming up, and this wick here is showing that there's resistance just below the cloud in the Ichimoku, and that generally indicates that we have to have buyers come in very quickly here, which, you know, I'm not saying won't happen, because the market cap is booming right now, but that's what has to happen, is we have to have buyers come in very quickly for this to switch bullish. Another thing to be paying attention to is descending resistance. I'm going to go ahead and drop this purple line. Every single time prices come up to this point or near this point, we have a sell-off. As you can see, we continue to have sell-offs in these areas and a sell-off in this area as well. So, you know, what we really want to see is if we can break out right here, this intraday candle, and break descending resistance. If we can break above descending resistance, I would expect a fall back onto where we broke out of. So I'd expect it to fall right back onto the 618 Fibonacci, due to a lot of bag holders that have been buying all the way down. So, you know, they're in the negative on their position, and so they're just going to get out as soon as they have a chance to. So yeah, I would expect it, if we do break out of descending resistance, and that breakout point would be, what is that breakout point? 17 cents. So if we can break 17 cents, I would expect us to fall back onto the 16-cent mark, and then break very bullish after that point. So that's really the determination factor that I'm using in XRP currently, is this breakout in descending resistance. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this chart. When I actually drop it, I will put it as like an actual playable chart, so you can click play. It will be in the description. You'll be able to click play and see how right or wrong I was in the future. So let's go ahead and make a little point here where bullish if we can break descending resistance. So I will write bullish, oops, if we break out. So bullish if we can break out, and bearish if we fall through support. Bearish if we fall, if support won't hold. So yeah, we'll be bearish if support does not hold, and we'll be bullish if we can break out. So that's my determination here on XRP. Something that I would be watching for is, again, this intraday candle is very important because this is kind of the major deciding point on this chart. And just so you guys know, if you're looking at this on Poloniex, you're probably looking at the Bitcoin to the Bitcoin to XRP chart, and that has Bitcoin priced into its value. So I like to look at the US dollar anytime I can because it's a very stable thing as opposed to Bitcoin being extremely volatile. And with this one, you can look at it against the tether, and you can look at it against the major volume market, which is Poloniex. Volume's important. If you have more volume in your chart, then there's a higher accuracy. So yeah, that's kind of my determination on XRP here. Let me see if I can make this a little bit more clear so that, yeah, there we go. That's a little bit more clear for you guys. Now, what I would like to also point out here is that we do have ascending support in this general area. So if I draw back here in prices, we ascended upon support in this area here. So it seems that we could, sometimes you bounce a little bit early and don't go all the way down, but this could have been a bounce off that ascending support right here. Or just in that general area that has a lot of buying power, because in the past this area has had buying power. It bounces and then bounces, as you can see, extremely high after the bounce right there. So that's kind of another important thing to be watching, is that ascending support line. But yeah, like I said, if we break below this point here, I would expect a bigger bearish move, and that would therefore drop down to the 786 Fibonacci. This looks good to me. This looks very good, especially with crypto market cap taking off like it is. This is one of the better looking charts, and also a good risk to reward ratio for entries. So if you are going to buy this, then I recommend putting a pretty tight stop loss because of the uncertainty in the markets. Maybe like, let's see here, maximum I would do is like 10, 6, 8% is what I'd be willing to lose in this chart here. But if we go bullish here, you can win up to 50% before you really see any major rejections. As you can see, 54% would be the 382 Fibonacci, which is where I'd see our first rejections if we break. Rejection if we break. So that would be a very, very good 50% that you could make on your money in this area, 54.7%. So if you do end up buying XRP, which again, I'm personally not touching the markets until we can break that important point in the market capitalization that I've been pointing out, but I think we're going to. It really looks good right now, unless we just have some major dump on SegWit that just wrecks the entire markets. So tomorrow, really, then I think we're going to break that point, and then we'll see a very, very bullish market again in cryptocurrency. But I don't want to hold on to that thought too much because it could go either way, and so I don't want to tell people like buy everything, because it's one of those things where we have to wait for the breakout or the fallout. So we're just kind of waiting right now. It's a waiting game before it's really good conditions for buying again. But yeah, that would be my my initial technical analysis on XRP, and if we do break out, I would see this making new all-time highs, in which case I personally, this is my little thing I like to do. Everybody has a different way they find targets, but I just clone and stack my Fibonacci. This is a little method that I personally figured out after trading for a long period of time, which I've been trading since 2015. So just to give you an idea of how long I've been doing this, and had very good success in these markets, especially in the last 6 months. Lost a little bit recently, but it's nothing I can't take and be like, okay, I can move forward on this and recover on my losses when things are better, when the conditions are better. But that's what you want to make sure, is the conditions are good, because if you're trying to buy in bearish markets, you'll always lose. You never want to fight the trend, and the trend has been bearish recently. So I would be waiting for that breakout in that trend. Oh shoot, I've got Discord messages right and left here. Better turn that off for the video. I've had people complain because I had Discord messages going off, notifications in my videos. But yeah, speaking of which, join my Discord, links in the descriptions. Check out my website, and if you're interested in my course, highaltitudecrypto.io. And I have a course there. I'm completely redoing like half of the videos in my course series, because when I recorded it, I didn't have as much professional equipment as I do now, and I kind of want to make it as professional as possible for you guys. But if you want to get it, you can get all the good content now. The content is still very, very good, and then it will be revised and even better in the very near future. So be watching for that. Again, my website is highaltitudecrypto.io. You can sign up for my mailing list. If you come here, a pop-up window will come up, and you'll be able to sign up for my mailing list, and you'll get a free ebook, which is basically the beginner's guide to cryptocurrency. That is also in my Discord. So if you go join my Discord and then you check in the announcements, you can also get the ebook there as well for free. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. I hope that you learned something. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below if you have any questions and what one you want me to do next week. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, stay profitable.